in SAT prep are honesty and consistency. So, if your teacher gives you homework and you just look up all the answers, you're not being honest. You're also not practicing. Let's say play baseball, and your coach gives you an hour lecture each week on the fundamentals of the game, and you never practice during the week. You're gonna stink. You're gonna do terrible on test day, and for SAT, you're not gonna improve. Consistency. You should do an hour a day. In my experience, that's when students maximize their score. Can't do that or unwilling to do that, do a half hour a day. But be consistent. That's going to lead to your improvement. My name is Paul Pasolka, Ivy Masters Learning Center and IvyMasters.com. And today we're going to look at Test 1, Section 3, Number 4. And what we see is Kathy being consistent fixing the phones. So, Number 4 reads, Kathy is a repair technician for a phone company. Each week she receives a batch of phones that needs repairs. The number of phones she has left to fix at the end of each day can be estimated with the equation P equals 108 minus 23D, where P is the number of phones left and D is the number of days she has worked that week. What is the meaning of the value 108 in this equation? Well, you might notice, you might not, but this is really just a linear equation. This is in the form of y equals mx plus b. Why might this be deceiving? Number one, because they put the y before the x. They have p equals 108 minus 23d. What's the other reason it's difficult to identify? Besides being in the wrong order, instead of x and y, you have p and d. If I put this in the correct order, or the order you're used to seeing at least, it would be p equals negative 23d plus 108. And here's the thing about linear equations. If you see the word each, or you see the word per, or you see the word every, or even then you know you're talking about slope. If you see the word start, or if you see the word initial, or you see the word begin, then you know you're talking about Y-intercept. And so it's asking about the significance of the 108 in the equation above. In the form y equals mx plus b, keep in mind that m equals slope and b equals y-intercept. For this question, your m is negative 23 and your b, which is your y-intercept, is 108. So we're looking for y-intercept. Knowing that y-intercept is 108, our answer choice should have something along the lines of start or initial or begin. Because think of on a graph, that's where your starting point and then your slope up is, or slope down from there. So answer choice A, Kathy will complete the repairs within 108 days. Well, if it takes Kathy 108 days to complete the repairs, she'll probably be fired. But that's just not, doesn't have anything to do with starting or beginning with 108. Answer choice B, Kathy starts each week with 108 phones left to fix. That looks good, we're going to leave that. Answer choice C, because notice it says starts. Answer choice C, Kathy repairs phones at a rate of 108 per hour. If she repairs phones at a rate of 108 per hour, then she is a phone fixing ninja. That's probably not humanly possible. So unreasonable answer choices you can probably get rid of as well. And then answer choice D, Kathy repairs the phone at a rate of 108 per day. Still not right. And if you crunch those numbers, if you crunch those numbers for answer choice D, 108 per day is still like maybe not humanly possible. So we see that the answer here is B. She's going to start each week with 108 phones left to fix. It was asking you for slope. It was asking for the significance of the 23. That's how many phones she's fixing per day. And what you could also do to check yourself is to pick numbers. In order to see the significance of the y-intercept, you could plug in 0 for your x. In this case, it would be 0 for your d. And what you'd see is if 0 equals d, what you're saying is as 0 days have passed, and then your p would equal 108, she would have 108 phones left to fix when 0 days have passed. When did 0 days pass? It's once you started the week. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You could share it with someone who has trouble figuring out what linear equations with parts of linear equations means. If there's any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT, leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. And click subscribe so you don't miss anything.